what Heiser says, that it was actually Nephilim and their descendants, the Rephaim, who introduced magic, and he also correlates it to Babylon as well, but introduced magic. And so I'm kind of fascinated by that. I don't know if you have any commentary on that, or you.
I mean, I've read Heiser's stuff on it. I mean, he does make this. The very last time that genocide is sort of commanded of the Israelites is also the last mention of there being giants or Rephaim.
It's honestly, it's helpful for me in stomaching it. To be perfectly honest about the who is this monster god who commands genocide and so on. But he's killing off these giants, which the authors of Second Temple literature, when they're like trying to explain the problem of evil, they're pointing to these guys. They're saying this is the problem.
The Nephilim, or fallen ones, in Genesis 6:4 are mysterious personalities. The mighty men who were of old, the men of renown. The text does not explain how the Nephilim arrived. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward when the sons of God came into the daughters of man and bore children to them, it simply states. But why are the Nephilim mentioned in Genesis 6 alongside the intermarriage of the sons of God and the daughters of man? It's unclear how these mighty men of renown came about if they were not the outcome of intermarriage between spirit beings and humans.
In the book of Daniel, when the king looked into the furnace, he saw four people there, and it says that one looked like a son of God, which would mean a divine being, an angelic being. There are only 5 occurrences in the entire Bible where we have the exact expression, Son of God or sons of God, and it always refers to angelic beings.
Angels, demons, giants, demigods, oh my! Did mythical creatures really walk the earth? Genesis 6:4. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days, and also afterward, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. This verse is the center of a wide range of theories about its meaning, leaving many people believing that giant angel-human hybrid monsters actually walked the earth during biblical times. We're going to get into the 2 main theories of the Nephilim of the Bible, allowing you to come to your own conclusion on what these creatures really were and whether the old mythical stories you might have heard as a child had any truth to them. Stay until the end to find out. The 2 theories about the Nephilim come from 2 important phrases in that verse in Genesis, the sons of God and the daughters of humans. These 2 terms are at the center of the argument about whether the Nephilim were actually mythical, magical creatures or regular strong warriors. Let's get into it. Theory number 1. The Nephilim are fallen angels, that is, demons, from heaven who lusted after humans, having sexual relations with them and creating a half-angel, half-human, magical, giant being thing. Think like the frost giants from Thor. Why giants? Theologians that believe in this theory of Nephilim think that the sons of God are fallen angels, since the meaning for the word Nephilim in Hebrew is a fallen one. But why giants? The reason that the Nephilim are believed to be giants is because of, you guessed it, the context. Many people have studied other times that Nephilim are mentioned in the Bible, specifically in Numbers 13:33. This was when the Israelites were describing the people they saw in a land they were planning to conquer. We saw the Nephilim there. The descendants of Anak come from the Nephilim. We seemed like grasshoppers in our own eyes, and we looked the same to them. The first giveaway to the Nephilim being giants is because of the way the Israelites described themselves, saying they were grasshoppers compared to the Nephilim. Last time we checked, grasshoppers were pretty small, which by logical reasoning meant that the Nephilim were really big. Other than that, the Nephilim are said to be descendants of Anak, but who the heck is that, and how does it help the case for magical giants? Anak is definitely not the most popular person in the Bible, but he was definitely there. The most important part of Anak is that he was a big dude, and the word Anakim literally means long neck, and used as a way to label giants in the Hebrew language. Anak and his descendants are often described as threatening, large war villains who were against God and his people, like in Ezekiel 32:27. And they shall not lie with the mighty that are fallen of the uncircumcised, which are gone down to hell with their weapons of war. And they have laid their swords under their heads, but their iniquities shall be upon their bones, though they were the terror of the mighty in the land of the living. This mimics the same way the Nephilim were described in Genesis, heroes of old, men of renown. Those who believe in this theory often use the Book of Enoch to further support this explanation of Nephilim, a religious text that wasn't included in the Bible. This book talks about the Nephilim giants in great detail. So if these sons of gods were demons or fallen angels, then why would they want to mingle with people on earth? The answer to that, according to this theory, is for Satan and the demons' desire to pollute the earth towards evil, making it literally impossible for anyone to give birth to a perfect Jesus. In simple terms, the demons did this to try and prevent the coming of the Messiah, making everyone tainted with the blood of the devil. This is why God wanted to wipe them out with the Great Flood, the one that's talked about in Genesis 6. And the last question, if the purpose of the flood was the only way to take down the Nephilim, then how and why did they survive? The answer to this is, in most basic terms, we don't really know. The main guess is that the Nephilim, with their power and might, somehow survived the flood that God unleashed onto the earth, going into hiding and avoiding the waters, or that the waters didn't actually take up the entire planet. Okay, so if all of this were true, this would be the coolest movie war story. God wiping out the evil demon giants to save the world from terror. So what's the other side of the story? Theory number 2. The Nephilim are simply a really big, strong, ungodly group of people, not angels or demons or any kind of magical, otherworldly being. But why? Those who subscribe to this theory believe that the sons of God in Genesis were simply men who were godly, of great status and renowned by society, not any type of heavenly creature. When they had relations with the daughters of humans, that means that they fornicated with regular people of society, people without any kind of popularity or godliness. In short, people became unequally yoked. Godly people reproduced with ungodly people, creating a line of evil war villains that were against God, but without any magical powers or abilities. Okay, but what about the giant part? Theologians who believe in this theory say that giants could simply refer to a genetic, physical part of humans, a race of people that were really big, buff, and physically fit. After all, gigantism still exists to this day, and it's a genetic condition. Think Andre the Giant type people. The reason for this theory is mainly because of what isn't in the Bible instead of what is. First of all, Enoch isn't part of the Bible for a reason, so believers of this theory don't want to use it to support any kind of religious belief. Secondly, God isn't talking about fallen angels in the book of Genesis. He's talking about people on earth. Chapter 6 of Genesis is about the Great Flood, where God is talking about the wickedness of man, not angels and not angel-human hybrids. Genesis 6:5. The Lord saw how great the wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. According to these theologians, God is not a God of confusion. Humans are frequently referred to as sons of God throughout the Bible, and the context of the book suggests that God is solely talking about humans. In this theory, it's unnecessary to look beyond the words on the page and the context it's written in. Besides this, accepting that the Nephilim are fallen angels mixed with humans would also suggest that angels have the capabilities to take human form and have any kind of relations with other humans, which is also never confirmed anywhere else in the Bible. Believers of this theory strongly believe in the fact that the literature of the Bible constantly reconfirms what God means by things, which it doesn't do at all when we take the theory that the Nephilim are angels that mix with people on earth. To them, it opens an entire can of possibilities that we can't use the Bible to confirm, which is dangerous. In simpler terms, if the first theory about the Nephilim were true, it would have been mentioned at least one other time in the Bible, like in Numbers or Ezekiel, but it isn't. The only thing that's talked about in later chapters is the fact that the Nephilim were big and evil, two things that both sides can agree on. Also under this theory, the Nephilim surviving the flood and appearing in later books of the Bible would make way more sense. If the giantness of the Nephilim was just a genetic thing, then that bloodline could have easily been continued through genetics after the flood happened, keeping the Nephilim alive and well throughout the ages. So, you've heard all the facts, but which one should you believe? That's a question that we can't answer for you, but we can give some advice. Even though it's really fun to think about and debate these different theories, it should never be a source of division within the Christian faith. The Nephilim are something that God talks very little about, not enough where anyone can come with an exact formula about what they are and where they came from. The point is, we all believe in a loving, strong God who has power over any evil that comes our way, including the Nephilim, even if they are demon frost giants.